A stranger sent me their collection, and after getting it unboxed, I was left with this. Let's go digging for treasure. If you missed the first part of this adventure, go back and watch part 1, then come back here to continue with the story, which continues with my dining room table again heaped with cards as it tends to be from time to time. I am $75 in the hole, and the only thing I know for sure is I have a few good 80s rookies and a complete 1985 Topps set. The rest, I need to sort. Much of this collection came to me in little banded packets with indented cardboard showing the wounds of generally accepted 80s kids stored solutions. I carefully unbanded each banded bundle and went through. And most of the banded bundles begat boring commons, but often I would find a little nugget, like this bundle that had a random 1958 Topps common lurking within. I began to sort the cards into year and brand. Each box a mess of the junkiest of junk wax cards. Right off the bat, and I could see high concentrations of 89 Donruss, 88 Topps, and 89 Topps, which is what I would expect. But there were cards from all over the 80s really, including a good chunk of 82 Donruss cards, featuring Yogi Berra as a coach for the Yankees. Not all the cards were in the best of condition. Many, like this 85 Murph, had suffered at the hands of kid ownership a little too intensely. Minor creasing, I don't mind, but a card this damage I tend to take out of circulation and offer a proper funeral. About an hour in, and 88 Donruss had really popped out as a frontrunner in the junk wax competition. My trash pile began to grow, as this guy kept every spring training fever advertisement from every Topps pack he ever opened. I found hundreds of these things, with the sweepstakes long expired and the par value somewhere in the neighborhood of 1/1000th of a penny. I made the executive decision to excise them all from the hobby collective. Send your complaints to Topps Spring Training Fever, P.O. Box 73323, Danbury, Connecticut. Don't wait. My desire to hear your opinion about me tossing these cards expired December 31st, 1988. While most of the boxes were junk, a few had box bottoms worth saving. Some of the box bottom cards from the 80s are really kind of cool. OG image variations, OG color parallels before parallels were cool. I'll set these aside for another video. This cardboard storage solution is a little behind the times, so I'll remove the cards and the inserts. I've never seen one of these boxes before. The bottom says 1970 Professional Training Aids. I couldn't find much info on this from the internet, but I did find a knucklehead on eBay trying to sell one for $10. I'll set this box aside for some other purpose. Its card storage days are behind it now. With the random baseball boxes empty, I moved on to the random albums and immediately happened upon this 55 Topps James Gilliam miscut. This is a fairly aggressive miscut, and I know there are miscut collectors out there, so I'll work to find this one a good home. There were some stars in the albums, like Johnny Bench and even a Roberto Alomar rookie, but no single card worth more than about $1. Again, I kept finding random 1958 Topps cards scattered about. That pile now getting significant. Billy Martin in this case. And while I was initially excited to see this 1968 Hank Aaron All-Star, on closer inspection someone had done some minor dental work to Hammer and Hank. In nicer condition, this is easily a $20 card. In mint condition, it's over $50. I'm afraid, as is, this is worth more like $5 at best. But it's still a vintage Hank Aaron card, so it will take its rightful place in my Hall of Fame box. The same album had more 80s stars and Hall of Famers, and a Pete O'Brien autograph for the Pete O'Brien super collectors out there. 79 Lou Brock, good cards, but nothing high dollar. The plastic baseball storage bin was properly bestickered in the era-correct two-division format, before the Rays and the Diamondbacks and the Rockies and the Marlins, before the Nationals when they were the Expos, back when the Athletics were still in Oakland, the Brewers were in the American League, the Astros were in the National League, when the Cubs were in the East and the Braves were in the West because nobody understood geography, back when all we had to worry about was mutual assured destruction from a nuclear-capable superpower, when the world made sense. Anyway, inside the box were a few 85 Donruss Jumbos. Alan Trammell was there, Dale Murphy, Paul Molitor, nothing crazy. The box otherwise was mostly unsorted junk wax commons and many, many more of the spring training fever cards, so I did my best to sort through them. This 33 Gaudi Napoleon Lajoie reprint was a curious find, the only card like it in the entire collection. Some of the checklists had been checked, but in the 80s that's what the card companies told us to do with the checklists. With about half of the sorting done, I was starting to see a fairly large chunk of 85 tops that could be most of a second full set, and a fairly large pile of 1985 Fleer was developing as well. And then there was this box, full of little player lots divided by slips of paper with handwritten names. No surprises to be had, so I sorted the cards into the requisite years and brands along with the rest. There is something romantic about these handwritten player dividers. Like a parent who doesn't want to throw out their kids' first grade assignments for reasons they can't articulate. I hope the previous owner's mother will forgive me for throwing out this connection to his youth. Amongst the baseball chaos, I found a single basketball card, this Kellogg's College Basketball Greats card of Larry Bird from 1991. With all the baseball boxes sorted, I was left with this. Most of this mess comprised of small piles of cards too little to be a set, or even a starter set for that matter. But there were a few exceptions. There was enough 88 Donruss to possibly have a complete set, 89 Donruss as well. 88 tops could be close, and surprisingly, the 85 Fleer pile looked to be more than half a set. When I attack a collection like this, I always start with a single question. What do I want to keep? Of everything on the table, the 85 Fleer set is the most compelling. Not only do I not have one at current, but I've never put one together. The 85 Fleer set is an opportunity for me to learn. And the slowly growing pile of 1958 Topps cards had grown to nearly 80 cards, which is almost a starter set by my estimation. I almost always have an 87 Topps set under construction and figured there were likely some cards here I could use for it, and since there weren't enough extras to comprise a set, and there were already 2 complete 87 Topps sets in this collection as it was, I pilfered some of the cards from that stack and was able to find 15 cards for my set. There's value and interest in the 89 Donruss set because it has a Griffey rookie, and the Griffey market is super hot right now. And this collection came with 5 89 Donruss Griffey rookies, so I have one to spare to complete a set. As much as I like 88 Donruss, there isn't much value and interest there, so I'll hold off completing that set for now. With the decision made to complete the 89 Donruss and 85 Fleer sets, as well as work on the 58 Topps cards further, I began to devise a plan to do just that. But first, I needed to raise some capital. And the first place to turn when I need to raise capital for baseball cards is football cards. They're cool, I just don't really collect them, and the vintage football collectors are fierce in their love for it. It's a reliable market. I did my best to organize the 87 Fleer live-action cards, and in doing so was able to discard this box which had reached the end of its usable life. The second box of football cards was organized by team, and had some nice stuff in it. Walter Payton, 2 very low-grade Joe Namath cards, a few Roger Staubach cards, and even a Roger Staubach rookie. All low-grade cards, sure, but a Roger Staubach rookie ain't nothing. There were 4 1961 Fleer football cards, and these. And if you know what these are, we can be friends. Another football gem found within was this Eric Dickerson rookie. Not a super high dollar card, but an important one nonetheless. After a cursory sorting, there was a few small piles of football cards, mostly creased up and low grade, and nothing that could be a complete set. There were a handful of stickers and 2 wax packs from 1990. I laid it all out in good lighting, I took some nice pictures and threw the whole lot up on Facebook Marketplace. It was vintage football, but it was low grade. These cards were all pretty beat up. But if you want some beat up football cards, you could have a Roger Staubach rookie and an Eric Dickerson rookie and 2 Joe Namath cards too. First, $80 takes it all. Within a few hours, I had a channel fan reach out about the listing, and we agreed on $100 shipped, since he wanted it shipped to Oklahoma to save the drive. I threw in a few card box dividers too. The net back to me was $80, so I was happy to oblige on all fronts. I was quickly back on the plus side of things, for now at least. The detritus accumulated like fry oil in the sewers under Kentucky, but for me, that was a sign I was making progress. First up to organize was this massive pile of 89 Donruss cards. Put on a ball game and go. Just for old time's sake, and because there were so many checklists, I decided to use the checklists as intended. I'm not sure if it's because I'm bigger or the checklists are smaller, but this was really tedious, and as it turns out, I couldn't read the card names anymore. Too many birthdays, I guess. Kind of incredibly, but maybe I shouldn't have been surprised given my recent pack opening adventure, there wasn't a full set here. Not even close. It was 121 cards short of complete, and that's only a 660 card set. All of these were doubles. More doubles than set cards. Yep, that tracks. I may need to rethink my 89 Donruss strategy, as 121 cards is a big reach when the set only sells for $15 when complete. The 85 Fleer set was next. It's also a 660 card set. After sorting and numbering, this set was about half complete and half doubles. But both the Kirby Puckett and Roger Clemens rookies were present and accounted for, as were a good chunk of the Hall of Famers. So this was just going to be sourcing commons at this point, and an 85 Fleer set is worth north of $60 when complete, so there's a little more runway in the budget to get this set squared away and still be in the black. For the 58 Topps cards, I borrowed some equity from my Whatnot collection flip. Some of you might remember as part of that purchase, I was left with an old baseball card binder that I straightened and freshened. Additionally, I was left with about 100 Ultra Pro pages that were perfectly serviceable too. Since I had the album and the pages ready to go, I decided I'm going to album the 58 Topps cards and work them into a set. And yeah, that's a tall mountain to climb, and no, I don't have the mantle, but this is a project that I can develop over time. After sorting the 58s, into the album they went, which meant careful counting of the pages and card slots so every numbered card would be in the correct spot for a numbered binder set. Bob Thurman, card number 34, was the first of what I hope will be 494 cards to enter this album. After a while of baseball card bliss, I had my skeleton ready for flesh. In addition to the cards that came with this collection, I had a bunch of Phillies from the set that I was able to move from storage and into service. And I had a Warren Spahn that I picked up at a card show a while back, and I had a Sandy Koufax that I picked up a year ago in a card shop near Philadelphia. Now to tackle the rest. There were 2 full albums of 80s stars that needed to be unpacked, in which I found this sport flick of Bo Jackson that uses the same image from his 86 Topps traded rookie. This is pretty neat, so I'll keep this one and have it enter my permanent collection. Other cards I found that will interest pretty much only me were an 82 Donruss Steve Bedrosian rookie card. He won the Cy Young with the Phillies in 1987 as a closer. Bedrock was a fan favorite, and I don't already have his rookie. And this 1982 Donruss rookie card of Von Hayes.
Next, you're gonna tell me you don't know who Von Hayes is, or Steve Bedrock Bedrosian. Dude, nobody knows who Von Hayes is!
About whom I have already made a video that you are welcome to go back and watch. There were so many not worth much Hall of Fame cards that I decided to try a slightly different flip angle with some of them. I took one of the high-grade collector's albums and stuffed it full of Hall of Famers, 20 pages, for a total of 180 cards of the best of the 1980s. I threw it up on Marketplace for $25 or 14 cents a card, just to see what would happen. It sold in an hour, and was picked up not much after that. Oh, okay. Well, I have a lot more cards, and I have more albums too. Let's try it again. So I took the second high-grade collector's album, I filled it with 20 more pages of Hall of Famers representing the best of the 1980s, I threw it up on Marketplace for $25, and it was sold. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't have any more serviceable albums, but I did have this thing, which was left over from the Whatnot flip. This was fixed with 10 pages in it, so I stuffed it full of Hall of Famers representing the best of the 1980s, threw it up on Marketplace for $15 because it was half the cards of the previous 2 albums, and it was sold. Huh. That was an easy $65 toward my budget that involved very little work on my behalf and showed that you can extract value from these 80s bulk collections. As for the complete sets, I verified that the binder of 87 Topps was complete, as was the box of 87 Topps. The binder of 86 Topps cards was complete, no additions needed. The 85 Topps set was complete, no additions needed. All of these sets were already in numerical order. I just had to readjust some of the pages in the binders. Also complete and in order was the 1990 set and the 1989 set. The only set not already in numerical order was the 1988 factory set, but it still had its factory collation, and I left it at that. Before trying to sell these all individually, I wondered if there was someone who wanted it all as a lot, so I threw it all up on Marketplace for $150. That included the 85 Topps set, a bindered 86, 2 87s, one bindered and one boxed, an 88, 89, and 90, and the 88 score set from the Whatnot collection flip that I had completed and restored. A guy came by the very night I posted it and took it all. My budget was sitting pretty. I had a clear plan for the 3 incomplete sets sitting on my dining room table. I had thousands of bulk commons to move. I had miles to go before I sleep. But my deal with the original owner was still not paid in full. It included one additional request above and beyond the $75 cost of the shipping, and I had to make good on that request. And now I had the budget to do it. Thanks for watching. It's time to trade up those crumpled chicken scratch travesties you call Cardbox Delighters for something more befitting of a collection like yours. I can help. Send me an email at philliesbaseballcards@gmail.com or check out sspsportscardproducts.com.